Hello!
Hi guys! Welcome to episode 9 of Absolutely Clueless.
We're back, and this time we're going to be talking about marriage.
So this is a big topic because, of course, love, relationships, marriage, divorce, heartbreak, all mixed together.
Juicy.
And
I feel like our generation, have a bit of a weird outlook on marriage. It's definitely different to our parents' generation, for example. So we asked you guys a bunch of questions on Instagram. We're going to go through the questions and answers and just see where everyone sits with everything.
Yeah.
Before we get started, we have a little gentle reminder for you guys for a little giveaway you didn't see.
So when we reach 500 followers on Instagram, we will be giving away five different prizes to one lucky winner. So make sure you go on our Instagram, find that post, tag people in the comments, like the post. What else were the rules? I
think it was then share it to your story.
Yeah.
You only have to do that once, but we need to see it. So tag us in that story.
Yeah.
And then you can win 5 different gifts of our favourite things.
We have already revealed 3 of those prizes. So if you're interested, go and have a look, and we'll be revealing the next 2 as we get closer to 500 followers.
Yes.
And we actually are getting closer to 500 followers.
Yeah, so you better be quick.
Yeah. So
Because
hurry up.
you might miss your chance. Okay, so diving straight into the question and answers.
Yeah, so there's one interesting statistic that we found online about marriage, specifically in the UK, and how it's changed since the past. So read it out?
So in 2021, it's been revealed that people are 44% more likely to have never been married than compared to in 1991.
So that's a 30-year difference.
Yeah.
And 44%.
It's a big increase.
Yeah, change. Yeah.
So we want to know why. And we've basically asked you guys a bunch of questions to figure it out.
Yeah.
So without further ado, first question was, do you want to get married?
So when we asked the people, do you want to get married, 73% said yes, and only 27% said no. Interesting.
Do you want to, because I feel like this is interesting for you. Because obviously I I've always wanted to get married.
Yeah.
I feel like you said that you want to get married, but you have like a more complex outlook on it than me.
I think because I've not had, well, you've got like a proper stable relationship, and I've not had that, so I don't feel like I've ever been with anyone where it's actually felt like I can envision it.
So I had it even outside of, like, I wanted it since being a child.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I've probably not had it outside of that is because of like, I just don't know enough about weddings and marriage, and I don't know enough about how it works. Like, what do people even do to start planning a wedding? Like,
yeah, you can get wedding planners.
Yeah, I think I only just recently realized that people get a different engagement ring to their wedding ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't know this stuff, and I was just like, what else is there that I don't know? Like, and I just feel like culturally, because I don't have a traditional family, I've not been raised with any traditions, so I just don't identify with that whole world, to be honest. It's like a new world to me.
You know what though? We're not, I think we're like going into the age group where we'll be going to more weddings, so maybe that'll really be enlightening. I think because I've only been to one wedding, and now because of my boyfriend's age, like his kind of friendship group are all starting to sort of get engaged and stuff. They're at that age. Serious. Yeah, so I feel like I'll be able to take a lot from the weddings. That I will be going to, just by like witnessing everything, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think. So is it because the wedding is only one tiny part of marriage?
Yeah, true. I think the rest. It is hard to envision it when you don't have a boyfriend and you don't have...
I really didn't struggle.
Why?
Because I would just imagine, like, I would imagine some like faceless man. I wanted the unit. I wanted the marriage and the family unit, and I knew that I wanted a husband as like a life partner.
So you wanted like that space and like someone to fill it. You always had that vision in someone.
Yeah, it wasn't like my boyfriend came along and was like, "Nah, I want to get married." I was like, "I want to get married," and
I feel like that's how it will end up being for me. I feel like I'd have to meet someone who'd have to like make me be able to see it.
Okay.
Otherwise, no. I don't see it. Because I've seen my mum single for most of her life. So I'm like, I don't even want to build that image in my head because it might not happen and I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah. But I feel like if you will it, then it will.
No, I don't know.
I think so. I think that you can will certain things if you
manifest it.
Yeah, but also like put things into action, like actively. If you want to actively find someone for yourself, then you can make it happen. I just think it depends on how much effort you want to put in. Like,
yeah,
there's a fine line between actively looking and being desperate. Anyway,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I feel like, I feel like I feel like you're looking at it glass half empty. Like, oh, it might not happen, so I just don't think about it.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think about it. Yeah, because like, I don't like that idea. It kind of gives me anxiety thinking like, because I think some other people like the idea of a whole day dedicated to them, and they're gonna be like dressed up and everything. I don't really like that.
Oh, I don't know if I like the idea of the day being dedicated, but I like the idea of like all my family, like my favorite family members, my favorite friends, all being gathered around and like celebrating with each other, and we're celebrating love, and like that makes me, the idea of that, just like one big party, just makes me really excited and happy.
Yeah.
But outside of that, wedding is the tiniest part. Like, yeah.
Obviously, I do like the idea of a life commitment to a partner. And
because you don't have to have a wedding if you don't want.
No, that's true. Yeah.
You could have a ceremony and then dinner.
Yeah.
If you wanted.
Yeah, very true. And I feel like, because the kind of guys I date, it really depends on their culture.
You think?
Yeah. Because I always date people from like different cultures.
That's true.
So I don't know what kind of customs might be there and stuff. So yeah. I feel like it'll be highly dependent on the man. Yeah.
But also, if they wanted like a big white wedding, I can't see you doing that.
Nah.
So they're gonna have to change that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't care if it's your tradition. It's not happening. I want you in some like big
Samara's deciding for me.
It was just like, because I know you walking down like...
Yeah, no.
Like, oh God.
I can't do anything OTT. No.
Yeah.
So does a marriage change a relationship? So 86% of people said yes, and 14% of people said no. I lean towards the yes. Because it doesn't necessarily have to change the nature of the relationship, as in like the dynamic. Yeah. But it does step it up a level. Like once you're married, you might have a prenup. Like legally, you are seen as like
a unit
together, and it does change things in terms of being able to get a house together. Yeah.
Financial security. Like people always laugh at me when I explain it this way, because it's like taking the romance out of marriage. But really, marriage, if you're not religious, then it is a contractual agreement. Like it's for your own security and to make sure that you feel like neither one is going to just like run at the first sign of like a potential trouble. It's a way for you to have to actually discuss different issues that could come up, like when you're buying a house, like when you're changing things to the property that could cost a lot of money, like when you're buying things together. And it just kind of adds that level of security, I think. And I also think it can like raise the stakes of possibly like thinking about leaving one another. So it makes you think
it's more of a commitment, and people might feel more emotionally safe. Yeah. Because then like if someone has declared that they want to marry you and be, till death do us part, then you're more like settled in that. You're more it's a bit freeing. Like I think people think that when you enter into a marriage contract, it can seem daunting and like really scary and also almost like a prison. It really depends on your partner, because if you're if you look at it differently, it can also feel liberating. Like,
yeah, because it's one or the other, really. Like, you could take the piss with that security. You could be like, you can't go anywhere, and then turn into the devil incarnate.
yeah.
Or you could be like, yeah, we both signed up for this. Like, we are wanting to make it difficult for ourselves to leave because we're fully wanting to jump in,
Yeah.
and we don't want for, you know, other small issues to distract us from like the main goal of like building a life together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I like that idea.
Yeah,
like,
same.
when I voted yes for marriage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why? For the why, I was like, because I'm a hopeless romantic. Like, I want someone. It would be nice to have someone that's like fully, yep, I want you, and no matter what happens, I want to try and make it work.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And then that's like solid clarification that they see a future with you.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well. And that's how they want their life to go.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah. That's a self-esteem booster.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's a flex.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, so the next one is, can marriage save a relationship? 100% said no.
Yeah, and I'm glad everyone understands
Thank
that
God.
it can.
Yeah, thank God. Honestly, I would have been scared if anyone said yes, because I think people do think that way.
Yeah.
People think that way about kids as well.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. No, there's plenty of examples of people who have been in a relationship where it's on and off, it's not going good or whatever. And then to try and keep their partner or hold on so badly to the relationship, they try and take that next step because they think it's going to bring out a new side of the partner, the relationship, whatever. In the end, it's
the same relationship, it still sucks.
Yeah, it's actually 10 times worse now because
now you're gonna have to jump through hoops to like leave one another.
Yeah.
And you can be extra spiteful with certain clauses in marriage contracts. Like, you can be spiteful with things. I think it's even trickier in the UK because you actually we don't have legally binding prenups in the UK.
Yeah.
So everything is split. Like, you have to, obviously, you can argue back and forth on the degree to which everything is split, but everything is split automatically. So if you had a toxic relationship and then, you know, the inevitable happened and you ended up leaving, wanting to leave one another after getting married by trying to save it, then you're gonna have to go through all of this messy negotiation. And if you hate one another or if it was toxic, then you're not really wanting to give each other anything. So that's just a really long-winded battle, and it's not. It's just a nightmare. I don't know why you would want to add even more complex. It's the same with kids. Like, when people are like, "Oh, a child will save our relationship." No, look at the actual issue. That's just like brushing it under the rug and dressing it with pretty flowers. It doesn't make sense.
And then it's really irresponsible because now you're bringing a child into the world and being raised by parents that don't truly love each other or have a healthy relationship with each other. So
exactly.
That's really selfish on the child.
Yeah, it's super selfish. It's really childish to think that to run away from the problems, the actual problems itself, like face them head on. I'm not saying that you know, unconventional or typically unfunctional relationships can't find a way to sort of fix and be mended. Because there's plenty of relationships that maybe started off rocky and then they did the work they needed to do and they were able to fix it.
I think that's when the parents decide that the priority is the child and making sure that they like collaborate and work together to co-parent and take care of the child despite their relationship and what's happening.
But then their relationship's all fucked.
What do you mean?
I think their relationship's all fucked in that sense.
No, that's not. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, for example, if
for the sake of the child,
if some parents have decided to divorce, it's not the end of the world if they're still prioritizing taking care of the child.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you're in like a really messy relationship, it still can. It's not the end. You can get it if you put work in. Then it can. There's like cases where it can get better as long as you actually acknowledge the issues and like both take accountability. That's the only way. It's not by I know what we can do. Let's add something else to the equation.
Yeah, it's not a solution. Having a baby is not a solution to your relationship problems.
Please stop doing that.
Or getting engaged isn't a solution to your relationship problems.
Do you know what that screams? Insecurity, because that is only for us. That's not for you guys. That's to prove to the world that you actually were meant for each other all along.
Yeah.
Trust me, we don't care that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we talk about it once when we're having dinner, and then it's out of my mind.
Yeah.
So you just committed to one another for 2 seconds of my conversation. For that validation for 2 seconds. And it's not validation because I'm judging. I'm like, why have they done that? I thought that they were on the brink the other day. And now they're so strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's strange. Yeah, it's strange the length people will go to. Yeah.
Just for external validation.
Yeah.
God, if you have a hold on your, like, if external validation has a hold on your self-esteem still, then I don't even know if you should be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because it can really just force you to make some stupid decisions.
Well, some people are in relationships because they don't want to be single. And that's quite scary to think how far people will take relationships then. You know, they'll actually get married to someone that they might not even be thinking, oh yeah, this is my one person for life. Yeah. But they're like, you know what, I don't want to be single, so I'm choosing them for the time being.
Yeah, avoidant behaviour, that is right there. Someone that just doesn't want to like face the problems that could be within them. That sounds like someone that's like gone through a breakup, you know, villainize the person that maybe broke up with them or they broke up with. Maybe they had a point. Yeah. But then instead of looking at and learning and growing from what you might have been able to do differently, you jumped into another one before you could acknowledge maybe the wrongs in you. And you're bringing all of your toxic traits, because everyone has them, into your next relationship. And you're just not giving yourself any time to process any issues that you might have within yourself that could be actually like lending to toxic relationships that you're having. And then you're getting married. Yeah. You're getting married.
And that's not a cheap venture either.
No. We were talking about this last night, like my last understanding of how much a wedding cost was when my mum got married years ago. So it's going to be even more expensive than that.
I know. And on top of that, like the way the economy is right now, people can't even afford to buy their own houses. And when you think about like couples in the past, people used to get married so young, like maybe in their very, very early 20s, like 20, 21, and they'd have a house already, they'd have kids already. But it was so much easier to do that back then. It was so much more affordable. Right now, we're all struggling to pay rent.
Energy bills. It's just, it's, and I think as well, people put a lot of pressure on themselves actually to get to a certain point within marriage, within having a house with someone, within having your own house. And base it off of the generation that came before us, but it's just not feasible. It doesn't make sense. There's no point doing that.
It doesn't make sense to, like, if you want to have a house with your partner, but you also want to have a wedding, what are you going to pay? The £10,000 deposit on the house, or going to pay £10,000 for a big wedding that's going to last one day? So I feel like the choices that new couples have in this generation are different, and people have to prioritize differently, which I think is why there's been less marriage. Well, like, people in their 20s are getting married less and less and waiting until they're a bit older.
I think as well there's less emphasis on religion in a lot of people in our generation, and that was one of the main reasons why people would get married, because they would want to be like that. They'd want their relationship recognized in the eyes of God. So if that's not a reason, then
or society wouldn't accept it as well if you wouldn't be able, in certain countries even to this day, you still can't be a couple living together if you're not married.
Like you can't go to a hotel and share a room unless you're married. Your children won't be recognized as like
legitimate.
So you know, that with all that considered, that makes more sense. I guess there's less reasons. It kind of just comes down to whether you just want it or not. There's not really that many like actual reasons why you need to get married. So people are probably like, no, it's not. I don't want it enough, especially with how much it costs. So Yeah, I get it, but I still want a wedding.
So we asked everybody what's the ideal age to get married. So 50% of people voted between 26 and 29 years old, and another 50% voted for 30 plus.
Yeah, so nobody said 18 to 22.
Or 23 to 25.
Thank God.
So everyone thinks like 26 onwards is basically a good age to get married.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think if you're a teenager, what are you doing?
Seriously.
What are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie to you, right? If we showed you some of the videos of us going out at 20,
oh, it's embarrassing. It's
unrecognizable.
I know, man. We actually changed so much.
I mean,
we look like babies.
Yeah. And also, we knew nothing. That year, the year of our 21st year, so like the year that we were turning 21.
Yeah.
Learned so much.
Honestly, yeah.
Changed everything. I listened to songs differently.
Yeah.
I watched movies with a different perspective.
Yeah.
I was looking at like couples in the street, and I was taking in like
yeah.
I was just taking everything in completely differently with a completely new perspective.
Exactly.
If I got married at 18, I don't know, I wouldn't understand the like levels of what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
At all.
No, exactly. I feel like, especially because both of us went through like relationship trauma when we were 19, and that changed our perspective in a way that made us more empathetic as well. Because like I could sympathize a lot more with people's emotions after I felt like heartbreak, like true heartbreak.
Same.
And I think if you, so I feel like people have to almost go through at least one big heartbreak in their lives, and if
I think it's actually necessary.
Yeah, and if you've been in a relationship and you're getting married to the same person since getting married really, really young and you're still a teenager, I feel like you're almost keeping yourself shielded for life. Or I feel like at some point down the line, it might break down. I don't know. I'm not wishing bad on anyone's relationship. Yeah. But I just think to be able to grow fully, I think you have to go through different experiences, painful ones as well.
I think painful ones are the most important because that's when you learn the most.
Yeah.
And like you said, I realised that I really didn't have much empathy, definitely not as much as I thought I had, with situations where people were going through breakups and heartbreak, where they had been in love with someone. Like there's no way of explaining what it's like to be in love with someone. You have to just feel it and go through it, and to lose that love or to have it taken away from you, it's so painful. And people write songs about it all the time, but there's no way that you can understand until you actually go through it.
Yeah, because it's one of the most powerful emotions. I feel like love is really powerful, and then heartbreak is almost more powerful.
For real. And like I think before that, when I would watch like certain movies and they'd be like, I just can't, or like I can't get over here, and I'm like, just like get with someone new. Like I just wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't understand. And I feel like I felt the same with, do you know when there'd be like people talking about being cheated on, and they get back with the person, I'd be like, why? Oh my gosh, did that happen to me? But if you're in love with the person, that's easier said than done.
It definitely is, exactly. Yeah,
you've built a life in your head with that person. You've built a life in real life with that person.
Yeah.
And a future.
Years, probably. Yeah. And sometimes, like, if they've cheated on you and it's just a one-time occurrence, you're like, you know what? Am I going to throw away the whole 4 years?
Exactly.
Like, or can I not just forgive that this was a one-time occurrence?
So it makes things so much more complicated, and that is what heartbreak allows you to see and understand. So if you've not been through that and you're signing up for 40, 50, 60 years of ups and downs of relationship, and the biggest argument you've had is over who gets to finish the last Kit Kat, like, you kind of
you might be happy like that your whole life. You might end up being happy, I don't know, but I feel like once you go through a heartbreak, you come back with a whole new set of standards and a whole new set of expectations of what you are willing to take and what you're not willing to take from a relationship. And I think if you're with the same person always, you might be compromising and not even realizing it. Because it's just never been addressed.
Or you've not realized that there is a possibility that you could have the guy that looks that way and that has his sense of humor, but also it's cleanly. More, what is cleanly a word? It's clean.
Yeah.
It's more like hygienic. Maybe that's a problem. You're like, oh, but that's just guys, you know. But you don't know because you've not ventured out, or you don't know you don't really like how he handles his money. But you know, I feel like that's just everyone's just like that, aren't they? Because that's all you know.
No,
you didn't.
So good.
I was gonna say you didn't realise.
I'm gonna say a bit of a nutty one, but like. Because some people don't know what good sex is, and
that's actually a really sad reality. No, it's sad.
A sad reality. Like, we shouldn't be laughing. There are so many women really unsatisfied sexually
for the rest of their life because they feel like, okay, let's just peel this back, because I actually think it's really important to discuss the fact that for years, I know in our friendship group alone, and our friendship group has extended quite a bit now, so we know quite a few girls our age have all said that they went through the same sort of situation where they first became sexually active, and they didn't realise until maybe they were in a more long-term relationship and they were having more consistent sex and they felt more comfortable asking for X, Y, and Z, or before they slept with someone else who actually did something different and actually made them feel like pleasure. They didn't realise that could happen. They thought that there was, you know, the sort of sex that you have on your own, which for some reason is so much better. They're like, I don't know why it's so much better. And then when they go and have sex with someone else, they're like, oh no, it's just because this is sort of sex is like with guys. No! That thing that you do to yourself, they can learn that.
Yeah.
How are you ever going to know if you didn't?
Yeah. But I think the way people end up getting stuck in that kind of situation, you know, in like a long-term relationship or marriage, and they're not speaking out about the type of sex that they want to be having, is if they're with somebody that isn't even trying to ask, and then they're not even trying to pay attention to that. It's like they're a selfish person.
And then all of a sudden that's the dynamic.
And that's a dynamic, and it's set, and it is hard to change that. Like, it's hard, especially women. Women are really affected by sexism in our society, and we don't really tend to talk out about what we want sexually, and that does translate into our intimate relationships, unfortunately.
100%.
And so a lot of women are affected by it, and it's almost like a what do you call it, like a systemic thing now.
And I think like you said, it's hard enough to bring it up. It's hard enough to bring up any intimate issues up, like just in general, but then if they're doing stuff that isn't really helping, like closing themselves off, like being really selfish, like withdrawing themselves maybe straight after, making you feel even more like you have to reserve and not share how you feel about what your intimate moments, like it's making a bad situation even fucking worse.
Because the way they have to respond to the communication as well, it's just such a vulnerable situation, isn't it? Like sex and that physical intimacy is the most like vulnerable you can be with someone. So like the littlest thing, like the littlest interaction will have a big impact on how connected you can actually feel with someone. So it's hard
for sure. Age is definitely important. I do know that people get married young. I do know that there's still people that get married quite young. I think we said it before, and I'll keep saying it. If you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, why are you in a rush to get married? You've got the whole, like the rest of your life to get married.
That's true actually. I think some people want to be young at their weddings, don't they? So
that is a stupid ass reason. You know how long we're young for? It's like 20 to 35.
People don't realize the perspective though. Like everyone has a different idea of like time. They have a different timeline in their heads and like what they want to achieve everything by.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I just turned 25 a couple of weeks ago, and I never wanted to get married at 25, to be fair. But I know that there were quite a few girls in school and in uni that used to say that, and it didn't really seem that mad to me. Now I'm like,
it does seem mad.
Dumb. Yeah, and everyone is saying that now because our friends are around the age of like 24 to 26, and they're all like, like we were literally sat talking about this yesterday, like, I remember when we said that we wanted a house and kids and like stuff by 27, 28, that's stupid.
Because I'm pretty sure I remember when we were like 12, we just thought it was so feasible, like by 25 we'd all have like our dream careers and, you know, we'd have already met our husband, we would, Yeah, be ready to pop a child out and stuff.
Yeah, we thought that we would literally have everything checkbox ticked off.
But I actually feel no different to like when I was a teenager in terms of like
I don't know what's going on.
Life progression.
No, I feel like
I know. Yeah, but
since uni.
Yeah, I think it's just because I remember so clearly what it was like to be 18, 19.
Yeah.
That it doesn't feel like there's been that much of a change.
Yeah, but then when you actually write things down, which we do need to do this exercise.
Yeah.
You know, moved out.
We have actually achieved a lot.
Yeah.
We've gotten our degree.
Gotten our degrees, gotten full-time jobs, live in the city.
Yeah. Pay for our own holidays, we pay for our own bills.
So a lot has changed, and there's a lot less that I expect from my parents as well. Like there was so much I didn't realise how much I expected from my parents until I went to uni, and then again when I like moved out again as well. Like I think your expectations get lower and lower, but it's so gradual that you don't realise that you lean on them less.
Yeah, no, that's true actually. Yeah. Become more independent.
Unless you want a crap from.
Right, so this is. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this.
Unless you want a crap from Christmas markets and you're Larissa 2 years ago.
No, right. So I was explaining this story to my good friend Samara and her other good friend. I was explaining about how I used to go on holiday. Well, I've been quite a few times to the German Christmas markets, like in Germany, and like one time I kept on asking my mum to buy me crepes, and like I swear I asked for like 4 crepes, and they were over here thinking I was a child.
I thought that she was like 9 at this time, like, oh, so you spoiled little girl. And she was like,
no, I was like 19. 19 or 20, like
she was grown.
I was a grown ass adult.
Yeah. Mummy.
Yeah, mummy.
Give me crap. Give me crap, please. So now I won't let it go.
Yeah, no, that's become a thing now. And anytime someone asks something,
this is a prime example why you can't get married at 19.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Literally, don't do it. If you're asking your mum for crap.
Yeah.
I thought you'd do that now though, Loki.
Low-key, yeah. Yeah, she still scolds me sometimes if I leave the house without my wallet.
Really? That's so funny, though. But you're paying, aren't you?
Yeah. I thought this was a treat.
Oh yeah, for mother. I'm your spawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so should kids come before or after getting married? So 0% said before.
Interesting.
Which is really interesting, actually. This is the first time I'm actually looking at all of this.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I know a lot of people that have had kids and aren't married. And I think that is quite like a norm now.
Yeah.
So it's wild that when people are looking at it like idealistically on here at least, people aren't saying before. Although 25% said after, 62% said whenever. So I guess they don't
that
really
could
care.
be before or after.
And 12% said never.
That was me.
I'm the 12%. Wait, let me have a look and see exactly. Yeah. Okay, so interesting again because I guess culturally and just generation wise we've changed in that respect because a lot of people that would never, like my mum said actually she remembers when she was pregnant with my brother and she would obviously be going for regular checkups to the doctors and she got to know some of the women because you all have to go quite regularly and she had an engagement ring on one of the girls my mum was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realise, and she was like, oh no, it's fake. I'm not having anyone judging me.
Oh.
Because she was pregnant.
Oh.
It was like at the clinic. So she would put this fake ring on when she went to the clinic.
Wow, okay.
And she didn't want any judgment. Would that happen now? No, people wouldn't bat an eyelid well, maybe they would. Maybe older generations, but not our generation. They wouldn't go, she's not even married.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a healthy relationship,
that's kind of the most important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and people are like, well, obviously they're going to have a baby. They're happy together and they've been together X, Y, Z long.
I think people understand what it's like and how it's hard to get married. How it's expensive to like have the wedding and plan, you have to plan years ahead and stuff. And especially if you're maybe like an older-ish couple and you feel like, now's, fertility-wise, you feel like
exactly.
you'd rather have a child.
That's your priority.
Yeah. And you don't want to wait to get married because you don't want to miss out on your chance.
Yeah, so
Even
you'd
though-
rather like be a young parent and actually be like guarantee that you can have the child that you want.
Yeah. Even though it is possible, like women still have fertility longer than I think a lot of us think.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. I think a lot of people get really worried once they hit 25 actually, and they feel like they need to be having children on the run up to 30. And I know so many girls that, or just people that whose mums are like had them in their late 30s.
Yeah, no, so true. So me too. Yeah, a lot of my friends, their mums were in their late 30s when they had children.
Yeah, so it's just a pressure again. Maybe it's pop culture, but it's also just amongst us. We do kind of push each other to you know, hurry up, settle down as soon as you hit a certain age mark. I
think it's just like standards as well, because a lot of people think that women are only in their prime in their 20s, and once we hit the big 30, that's when we start to, what do you call it?
Deteriorate. Yeah.
Even though that couldn't be further from the truth.
Literally.
But okay.
So dumb. It's actually really frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, actually, I know that I always talk about celebrities and who are like older than like people's ideal age or age group, but I know of so many celebrities who have like hit the 30 to 35 mark who are just killing it. Like they just look insane. Okay, maybe they have a bit of surgery. Like SZA had surgery, but do you know how old SZA is?
I think I heard about it recently. How old is she?
I think she's 36.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
she's in her 30s for sure. She's in her fucking 30s.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
I saw a TikTok recently as well about
34,
yeah. I saw a TikTok recently as well about how, well, you know how like there'll be some haters saying that, you know, women need to get married whilst they're young before they miss their chance, or if they want like, you know, a high value man, you need to like
lock them down.
Lock them down whilst you're young, whilst you have something to offer, apparently. But then this lady, she made a TikTok showing plenty of examples of like women who are really successful in their field, and they've been working on their career, and they've been working on their education, and they've gotten to the point where they're so like successful. I think maybe what's the tennis player? Vanessa? Is it Vanessa?
Serena Williams.
Maybe Serena Williams. Yeah, like she didn't get married until a bit later.
Or Venus, her sister.
Yeah. Anyway, so she was showing those examples of like, it's actually not too late. Like it's just pressure from hateful men that think that women, they just want to put pressure on women. So like,
it's always the men that can't get anyone.
It is, yeah.
You better hurry up, because you're gonna miss your chance. You've never been able to get anyone.
Yeah.
Don't try and coach me.
You're gonna miss your chance because you're ugly.
You don't.
You're ugly and your personality stinks.
You never had a chance. Let's be real. There's nothing to miss.
So yeah, I only call people ugly when their
fucking nasty.
Stinks. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are ugly. You're an ugly soul. It's ugly through and through. So it's always guys that look like that.
No, it actually
and girls that are like, maybe I feel like a lot of women who say that will say it if they're in like an unhappy marriage because they got married young, and they're like, everyone should get married. Like, why are you still single? Why are you still single?
That is so true. Yeah, I see a lot of videos of like, it's the aunties.
Yeah. Why are you so pressed?
Yeah.
Why are you so invested in the time frame of my relationship?
Yeah. It's because they want you out the market.
Yeah.
They want you as competition out the market.
Yeah. Or they, like, because their life is just so sour and just not how they envisioned, they want you to like either live their dream or suffer with them.
Yeah.
And like, just marry that guy. It doesn't matter if he's toxic. No, let me just figure it out if I even want to be with him before I get married and have kids with him.
Yeah.
God. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the final. I mean, no, it's not. This is a penultimate. So, this question said, should you get a house / live together before or after marriage? Now, after writing this, we realised that like, getting a house and living together are two massive and completely different milestones.
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
But I do think as well that people So there are some people that won't live with their partner until they're married.
That's true. Yeah.
So sometimes it can be one and the same.
Yeah, I think it depends on culture as well. Yeah.
But do you want to read that out?
Okay.
Read it out?
Yeah. So 62% of people voted that you should get a house or live together before marriage. Before marriage, yeah. 25% said after, and 12% said either. So I think it's necessary to live with your partner.
Same.
Rent a place together or something before you get engaged, really, because I think
agreed.
I think that's when you really start to see who your partner really is.
Yes.
Through, like, because you're with them 24/7, then you see what their routine is like, how cleanly they are, what they do when they wake up, how they get to sleep and stuff. Like, you just see them when they're sick, when they're sad, when they're having a bad mental health day. Like, you actually get to see it all.
Yeah, not just when they're getting ready to, like, take you out on a date and it's their best self.
Yeah, and you actually have to work with each other to because sometimes you're going to need space. You have to work with each other for that. Whereas like when you're just dating or you're living in separate,
stomach's really growling.
Yeah, when you're living like separately, you have so much space and time to yourself, and that is kind of like, sometimes that is what keeps a relationship going.
Sometimes it is. People struggled over lockdown.
Yeah,
it is not a myth or a secret that so many relationships ended after they had to move in with each other or spend every waking moment together. It was really eye-opening for so many people in were in long-term relationships, and it either made or broke a lot of couples.
No, that's so interesting that COVID had that effect.
Yeah, that's why living with someone is so important, because imagine how the impact that lockdown had on a relationship. Imagine going from never understanding someone's rhythm, someone's daily patterns, to just being thrown right into that, and then you got pressures from family members or whatever to throw a baby into there as well. And you're learning about, finances as well. They're really important.
Well, finance, like, one of the biggest reasons for divorce is money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's what people argue about the most. Like,
it makes sense.
About who's earning more, about who's paying more, who's contributing more to the household. Who's
who's fucking with the finances.
Why
did you go out and spend that much? Now we don't have enough money for X, Y, and Z. Maybe you have different spending patterns or spending habits. And maybe you're both ends of completely different spectrums. Like, maybe one person likes to spend on treating themselves a little bit too much. Maybe they spend money that they don't have. But on the other spectrum, you have people that don't want to spend any money. No, we're not going there. We're saving. Why are we saving? I don't know. I just want to save for a rainy day, just in case. So we're not going out for food. We're not going to shop at this shop. You don't need those clothes. Wear those.
And some people just want to have a good life. Like, they want to actually enjoy the money that they earn.
But on the other side of things, there can be situations, and I've seen it firsthand, where a partner can risk everything you fucking earned on stupid recreational stuff, gambling, alcohol, going out, going to the club. I saw it on Married at First Sight. I think one of the people, might have been Love Is Blind, one of the people just like to go out and spend money on fucking tables in a club. And the other partner was sat at home thinking, I don't want to spend my money on that. I don't really respect the fact that you're spending your money on it. I know it's your money, but what about the time for us to spend together? Why is that a priority, spending money on tables?
When you're more willing to put money into things like that rather than your partner. If that's the life that you wanted to live when you were single, it only impacted you, but now you're in a marriage and you're building a life together, so you need money for that. And if you didn't live together then, and you got married and you're all of a sudden learning this, you've already signed on the dotted line. This is your life now. You know what, you bringing up Marriage at First Sight reminded me of, what was that thing that we watched?
Love Is Blind.
Not Love Is Blind, the other one where they...
Ultimatum.
The Ultimatum. That was
what a show.
such a good show.
What a show.
But it's a bit shocking how young the people were that were giving the ultimatums.
Yeah, it was silly.
A few of them were like 23, 24. And they were like, I want to get married now. So either you propose to me by the end of the year or we're breaking up.
And they kept putting emphasis on like, I've had a relationship with this person for 2 whole years. 2 years is nothing.
2 years is nothing.
It's nothing. You can learn so much. Within 4 years, me and my boyfriend have been together 4 years. I'm still learning about him.
Yeah.
So 2 years.
I know, and she's ready to like. She wanted
promise.
To have your whole kids life and everything. Yeah.
That is wild. I think as well though, because it's an American show, The Ultimatum. I think religion is still very. I think it's a lot more tied into American culture than it is British culture.
Yeah. I feel like American culture has so much more emphasis on money as well, in terms of like I think the women are so much more comfortable to be like, I want a man who's a provider and who's gonna pay for me.
But I think that again ties into the fact that tradition, like a really solid like nuclear American family is Christian, and the parents are married.
Yeah.
And they do have children, and they maybe did settle down before the age of 30. So it's still very traditional. I think Britain, maybe it's moved a little bit away from that just because maybe we're smaller and the culture kind of spreads a bit further. I don't know, because I guess in cities like New York City or like LA is maybe less common because it's a bit more cosmopolitan and mixed with people from all over the world. Whereas if you go to like places down south and like places like that, it's more traditional and that's kind of expected. And no one really, on that show, no one was like batting an eyelid at the fact that these 24, 25-year-old men and women were asking for marriage and were willing to put their relationship on the line because they wanted it that badly. It wasn't like you're so young. It was like,
nobody said that, did they?
No.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
I know to me as well. I was like, what?
You're still getting to know yourself.
Young. I know, exactly.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's important that you at least live with each other.
But then buying a house, what do you think about buying a house together?
I mean, I think it's a really, really good way to understand even further about each other's finances. It's a big promise, actually.
Yeah.
I think kids' house and marriage are all up there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't think it was weird if a couple bought a house together before they got married.
I guess not, but I think I would prefer to buy a house afterwards than marriage. But then I don't know, because then where are you going to live together as a newly married couple?
Yeah, I think I want to buy a house first. But I'm not like super fussed about it. Okay, so final one. Has the idea of marriage changed?
So 100% of people said yes.
Agreed.
Yeah. Should we read out
so someone said, but life is still financially so much easier for married/cohabiting people. So not different in that way.
Yeah.
Agreed. But I think, like what we said before, the meaning of marriage has probably changed.
Yeah.
And like the reason why people want to get married probably switched a little bit.
I think in the past people got married because it was like very much expected.
The done thing, yeah.
Yeah, whereas now it's not as much of an expectation.
I think we're at a crossroads. I think it's one of them where people probably would raise an eyebrow if you never got married. But no one would kick off if you had like a full life with someone, raised children with someone, bought a house with someone and never got married. Like no one would be like, that's absurd. But people would be like, oh, I wonder why. They'd have questions, I think. A lot of people.
Yeah. But some people don't believe in like the constitution of marriage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I think I would need to discuss that more with people that think that way.
I know a couple that don't want to get married and they've already been together for like 10 years and they don't want children either, but they've bought a house together and stuff. They're just very, very content and they don't think they need to change anything. They don't think getting married is necessary. And I can't give a reason as to why they should get married. Yeah. Really. So. Yeah. It's not. If it's not a necessity, it's not a necessity.
I get that. I think I just don't understand the reasons why you would dislike marriage.
Yeah. But I think surely, like, you'd want to get married to your partner so that if something happens to you, your partner's on the will.
Well, you can just add people to the will, but it is just automatic if you're married.
Yeah.
So it's a bit safer.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't think about it like that. They just think, oh, it's added to the will.
Yeah.
And maybe people do equate marriage with wedding when wedding isn't actually.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a wedding. You can literally go to a registrar office. A registry office and like just sign some papers. And pay the minimal. But yeah. So I would say I agree. It has changed. Is that it? Okay, well, it was short and sweet. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. This was juicy. Quick reminder for our little giveaway. We spoke about it at the start of the episode.
So if you go follow us on our Instagram and you'll find the giveaway post there, make sure to leave a comment, leave your like, and you can be in for a chance to win 5 juicy prizes.
Yeah, we've revealed 3. We have 2 more to reveal, and they're all of our favourite things. So make sure that you have your chance to win one of those. 1 of those? 5 of those.
Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the lot. Woo!
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, it's okay to be clueless. Bye.
Yes.
Because we don't have any fans.
Yeah.
8 people said yes, 2 said no.
So, I feel like a thing you should have put a ring on.
I don't know what to say next.
Or should I propose to you?
Oh, you can't get down on one knee. I don't know if anyone will know.
Okay.
Unless you put a ring there.
No, we're going to put a little,
Okay. Marriages don't last. Divorce. But you've not been through enough trauma to like have empathy for divorce.
We'll get there. We will get the trauma eventually.
Oh, don't worry, yeah. It's all come.